read Swedenborg, Abraham Lincoln, we're familiar with his works, William James, Henry James, those thinkers and philosophers. And then Helen Keller is a big name, and Johnny Appleseed. Now, what's funny about Johnny Appleseed is that my friend in college said, we grew up with him as a tall tale. You mean he's a real person? Yes, John Chapman existed on this planet and became known as Johnny Appleseed because of what he did as far as planting. And there's all the orchards, mostly in Ohio, some in Indiana. I don't know if he got up to Michigan, but I know between Ohio and Indiana. He would take part of his Bible and also works of Swedenborg, and as he was going around to different families and planting apple trees, he would spread the works. Yes. And so we have those people, and most recent fame is Dr. Oz. You might know Dr. Yes. Oz has some kind of fame. His mother-in-law was just ordained at our church convention this year. So yeah, so a lot of people, are familiar with this theology, with this philosophy. And what's interesting is that Swedenborg said that he didn't want a church named after him or whatever, but the way that it was preserved on the planet was in the form of a church, because it was a theology, it's an understanding of the Bible, and that's what most people associate with theology, is that it needed to be preserved. So it's this little corner of the, well, it's not just a corner of the world, but because there's people all over who are familiar with it.
So what I'd like to know is how Swedenborg has been coming to you and wanting you to present Swedenborg, because he needs to stop coming to me and telling me that I don't want to be a church anymore. As far as in this new era, he can actually not have to stay hidden. He doesn't have to be about being condemned, and he knows that I have something to do with the process of the way the human nature is growing, and she has great gifts, and he needs to go to her and talk to her, and when she shuts down and he comes knocking at my door, it's like, seriously, Jen. So what plan do you think Swedenborg has for you as to help with the future?
It's that spiritual awakening. Gosh, there's so much to his theology. I mean, he's got his cosmology, understanding of the universe, because he was a scientist before he was a theologian. Ripley, believe it or not, lists him as one of the top 3 most intelligent people that have lived on the planet.
Cool.
He was the Renaissance man of Renaissance men. So there's so much to what he knows that sometimes it's overwhelming for me to even think about what I'm supposed to do with it. But I know it's taking it out of the church. Yes. It's not supposed to just be worshipped and
it's
held on this pedestal. Right. You're supposed. That's the biggest thing, is applying the teachings. And so I know some people get locked into, it's funny thinking of Swedenborgian fundamentalists, but there are, but what he was explaining was the redemptive power of Christ consciousness. And it's not limited just to Christianity, because Christ consciousness, the root of the word Christ, is also in chi or ki in the Eastern traditions. So that consciousness is present throughout all traditions, and it's waking up to that.
I love how you said that, because the second coming of Christ is that awakening up. It's the energy that flows through, whereas that's the yang side, the yang side, and Sophia energy is the feminine energy that comes in, and it is about knowing thyself and opening the heart. So it is learning to bring yourself into that heart space with the knowledge, and I really enjoy this. So Swedenborg, what's interesting is when you first met me, you thought I had already known Swedenborg based on what I was saying and teaching and doing.
Right.
And I think from a past life I was, and I think that was meant that I take it from this angle without having any relation to Swedenborg to help back Swedenborg, because when I keep listening to her, it's like, dang, you think I did read those books? Because I really enjoy, you can't just sit and read the book. It's so, what do we want to call it? It turns into itself so many times.
Right. When
but
he
it's so
wrote,
in-depth.
when he wrote
one sentence.
Yeah, one sentence can sometimes be a page in a book.
But it's very important. And each word in the definition of those words is what needs to stand out. It's not the way the words are put together as much as, if you know the definition of this word, then great, you'll understand the sentence. And so when we sat down and she was teaching in here, which she'll begin probably teaching again soon here, is, okay, so we took a couple paragraphs and we started to pick it and look at how it represented life as. It was incredible. It started to build and sculpt and create a moment. And you're like right there with his thinking. You're like, oh. And now we can see how we can apply it to our space and what we're doing. I mean, that's the way I grasp it, and that's why I enjoyed when you had your classes here about teaching about Swedenborg and teaching about that. It is so important, and I know that you're supposed to get back into doing that because it is more of a spiritual center of that he wants you to teach and to be in and to create.
Right.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break.
And then we'll get back to how I am medicine woman and minister.
Yes. Gone. Here we go again. Okay, Jen needs to tell us her adventure about Swedenborg to how she became medicine woman.
Those weren't the phrase.
So that's fine. Anyways, Jen, go ahead and just start talking. Scott,
okay.
Stop making the noise.
All right. So when I moved to Michigan to complete my ordination requirements, and at that time, that's when my ex-husband and I were getting together in our relationship, and I moved to Michigan. I met Brenda through a friend. So as I was completing my ordination requirements, I was also coming to class, and all of a sudden started my gifts and abilities really started waking up, especially with the Reiki attunement. So
here I thought all the time that she was using them. I'm just chatting with her as if she had used them all the time. She's like going, what? And she didn't want to let on that she didn't. And then I started noticing the energy of the confusion of all of the gifts that she is using, but she doesn't know she is using. Oh, we're going to have to do something about that. Got to make a connection.
Here's your abilities. So I've always been interested in alternative healing. And going back to it, and it really brought me back to when I was, 18, 19, 20-ish, going to those whole life expos and really being excited about alternative healing. And I've always wanted to be Reiki. Everybody talks about Reiki, and now I can be attuned to Reiki, and it was that right timing for it to happen. So then, journey along, then you said, oh, I'm going to become a medicine woman, and you're invited. And at that point in my life, I took a turn away from this world, while you were going on this adventure to become medicine woman.
Yeah.
But I knew that, and that's a story for another day. But that invitation was always there. I knew you were doing it, so I knew that it was possible to become a medicine woman, and I knew that that was going to be a protection of sorts for the alternative healing that I was interested in. And when we get into hands-on healing, it's not just Reiki, and I haven't really been trained in a lot of different areas, but I know what I'm doing when I start doing hands-on healing. It's all of a sudden you need this, and the other, and all of a sudden I don't know where it's coming from, but it is another world when I'm doing it. So it's awesome to have the protection of being a medicine woman. And the tradition, looking back at being a medicine woman, is also about being that shaman, understanding what life represents now, and that nature is speaking to you, animals are speaking to you, your angels are speaking to you, your body in its physical pain is speaking to you, and that's so familiar to me because I grew up with the Swedenborgian theology, which his one of his main focuses in the theology is that there is another level to the Bible. Yes, it has valid and informative and enlightening information at face value, but there's a what he calls an inner sense. There's a correspondence to what the literal word means to a spiritual concept that's in the spiritual world. So I know that a tree is not just a tree. A tree represents intelligence and wisdom of different kinds, and each tree means different things. So, and the skeleton means something because of what our theology is. So this idea of life representation has been part of my foundation since, I was probably in the womb growing up, in the Swedenborgian world from that point, from conception on. And so it's part of me feels split, but at the same time part of me feels whole in figuring out that there's two different worlds connecting. Obviously there's the natural and spiritual, but there's also the world that's from the Bible and also the ancient traditions that are also present on the planet. And so that's about me interfacing Swedenborg with being a medicine woman.
I mean, it's just a natural part of who you are, because you grew up with it right from the start. And now it is, it's not that you're not applying it, you're applying it. It has taken that next step because of the fact that she, what do we want to call it? When you were explaining the story about how you were on your camp grounds, and you said that you went into that room and you sat, you had to turn the light on and force the door open. What I was, if you watch the video camera, you noticed that the energy had gone through me.
Right, I knew you were getting some information, but I was chugging along with the story.
Oh, you were supposed to. But all it kept telling me is that it was your beginning stages of your mediumship, meaning they were ready to communicate so she could do her mediumship, and because she hadn't been humanistically ready, there was no conscious connection of going, oh, this is what this is. Sure, okay, I will download.
Because it had been torture for me growing up. It was like, if it means accessing the other world means this, and there's been pain and anguish and everything associated with it, I'm not going to really say, oh boy, yes, let's journey on with this.
Exactly. But anyways, that was the beginning of her mediumship. So the hands-on healing, one of the things we do want to explain about this is when you start down this path, this road with me, we're not just going to show you Reiki. We're not going to show you just quantum healing. We're going to show you all of the things that are just constantly present with your soul's interfacing. A lady that came today, for instance, she came in, she wanted a soulpathic, and she says, I'm having menopause issues. And I'm looking at her, and I'm by her age, she's 50-something. Okay, that makes sense. I says, you don't mind if I access your field? She says, well, no, that's why I came here. And I says, well, it's not just hot flashes. Yes, it shows up physically as a hot flash. I says, but your energy is completely shifted to one side. I said, somebody came up to you and literally grabbed you by the shoulder and kind of interfaced with her just enough that it threw her off her center, and literally all the energies just went to one side of her body. Because the spots that we have on the top of our head, the round part of our head, the back part of our head, I see them as round circles, and that's the pituitary, the hypothalamus, and the pineal, and they were split in half. But yet all the energy was shoved to one half, so it looked like it was split in half, but it just all congregated over to one side. And I'm like, seriously. So the healing that has to be done is just, so I became a mirror, and I said, hey, just copy me. And so, in muscle memory, as I'm touching my body, because I am being the conduit, I'm also actually touching her matrix of her body. So as I was tapping, she could feel that I was tapping on her. So I just said, all right, you just interface, which means you copy, you get your body, and you do it too, so that your body will learn. It's like when they used to say, okay, if you want to become a better basketball player, they had done this test, they're going to take one half that actually physically shot baskets, and then the other half, they just had those people shoot the baskets in their mind. And then they compared them, and the ones that had done it in their mind made more baskets. They had become more proficient and be able to do it. And so, you know, you're training yourself to understand that you can do this. So as I'm going through, there's different exercises that we ended up doing. Not exercises we get on the floor, but the separation of heaven and earth. And it was rebuilding. She had to do the cross crawl. We had to retrain her brain to communicate. So hands-on healing does not have to be, here, let me just place my hands on, you know, make a sandwich, because if you're watching the video, you're watching what I'm doing to Jen. And that's what it started out with, was hands-on healing.
Or people that talk about, oh my gosh, I had a Reiki session, and it just felt so good to have a Reiki session. And it does.
It does.
A Reiki session feels
I'm
awesome.
happy for them.
And check out our service page. So Reiki sessions are awesome. But there's more to it. For me, it's difficult for me to just say, oh, we're just going to raise up your vibration. And you're going to go out the door, and there's more.
Are you going to hold
involved.
it? That's my question.
Exactly. Are you going to hang on to it? Because fine, if you want to pay me $100 for hands-on healing, that's fine. Be a regular. You know, I'm not saying no, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice to you because I know there's more that can be done.
Exactly, and I evolved from, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world, which it still is, to adding so many different modalities with it. I was like, oh, well, people want me to go back and give them the Brenda special, and that is where they either stand, sit, or whatever, and I muscle test, I put my hands, yeah, you know, and connect the dots, make the energy move. They can feel it, they feel good, they make the pain go away. I mean, and it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with that I can interface with the matrix of your whole body. But I want all the rest of the body. I want you to have everlasting results. I don't want you to walk out that door and have it come back as soon as you realize you entered the matrix. Oh, I gotta go home. Ah, damn.
I feel like Pac-Man when attacked by those little Inky Blinky and whatever.
Yeah. But
there's more to it. We want you to keep going.
Because you're a thought. I mean, these people feel good until they realize, oh, I gotta go to work, or I have to do this. Your thought process creates all these things. And so when I'm accessing certain energy parts, it's like, okay, here's your muscle memory. You're going to recreate, because the frontal lobe is an amazing tool. The frontal lobe in your brain.
That's why zombies are so hungry for them.
Yes, because they create reality. Okay? And you want to create a different reality. This is what you're begging for. This is why you complain. This is why you're upset. Is because you want to change that reality, but you don't know how. But then the main part is that in the frontal lobe and the way the brain is, all that gray matter or all these energies and the synapses and the dendrites and all of these things about how you create your thoughts. And they stay that way until you disrupt them, and then they create differently. And that's one of the things is to help you understand your inner world creates your outer world. And if your inner world is in turmoil, what do you think your outer world's going to look like? Now, there's always the people that put their face on. They put the hat on a different way, a different attitude. I knew this guy that sat there and he learned how to put on a straight face, a happy face when somebody's bitching at him. And you would never know that he was even being affected. But as you access the energy field, oh God, yeah, it was getting stored up into his prostrate and other stuff. And so when I asked him, I said, so have you had any prostrate troubles? And he said, well, that's not that private. I said, first of all, you came here to ask.
I'm a healing practitioner, and I'm going to read each part of your body. P.S.
So I said, your left ball, how's that one? And he says, well, yeah, I am having problems there. And I said, okay, do you want to know why? I don't have to touch you. You can leave your clothes on, please. Just let me tell you why. And so then as soon as I said it, he's like, God, that's familiar, yes. And I said, let's stop knowing it the way you do. Let's disrupt those signals that says I have to chronically be this way. He says, yeah, but I can't let down my guard. I says, you don't need to let down your guard. Let's heal why you have to have the guard in the first place. I says, because when we create a better foundation, that's the better you become. So hands-on healing, and that's what Jen learned, is it's not just placing your hands on somebody. It's not just, you can do distant healing, you can do it in person, but mainly if you are, well, like I said, you don't even have to be in front of me. I can read what it is, but I can tell you what you're projecting, why you're projecting it, and let's change the foundation. So I'm not sure if a couple of the people that had texted me and said they couldn't get into the room, if they made it back. Anyway, she says she's not being able to do it. Thanks, we'll check for that. Okay, so hopefully some people have made it into the room. I see a few more people have, but I still don't see the names that had texted me. So Mark was telling me, and he's our producer, has said that some people are having trouble getting into the chat room, which is XAT, and sometimes you have to sign in. But Mark was saying that, well, maybe you need to put the Java shockwave in. Sometimes updating those. What do they call
the players, the
plugins.
The plugins, that's it.
Plug it in, plug it in.
So, and I know other people have saying they were having problems with it, but I do know that I have been updating my plugins about it, so that's why I'm able to probably get in. And yeah, you got to line up.
You have to update your programs.
And that's another keyword we use in to become a spiritual human is updating your programs. A lot of times at night, I'll just lay there and download new information that's on the planet that doesn't have to be, it's up for higher sense. It doesn't have to be the group consciousness. It's about how to resolve it, because if your intention is aiming towards what you want, then the universe will easily provide it. I was looking for information about how to do something. I don't even know where to begin with this. And the next thing you know, one thing led to another. I started getting all this information in. And it reminds me of your story that you had in college about how to write the paper about who you are. And your mother's like, where did you get all that information? Well, it just started by...
I just sat in the library and said, this is this part of my story, and if I'm on this, then maybe I should look at this history. So then I just went back in the day when they had card catalogs, and just started accessing the different books and this, that, and the other. My mom said, you found sources to back up every part of
who you are.
Who you are.
And seeing that's important because it's about how you draw it into you. Your attracting factor is important. People say, well, there's nothing wrong. I don't have any money problems. Well, if your evidence out here is saying you have money problems, then obviously there's an attraction factor or the inner world needs to be corrected somewhere. Again, it's not blaming. It's looking on that level of going, what knowledge do we need to upgrade? What one do we need to dismantle? What do we need to do?
Well, like when your bathroom is broken, you call a plumber.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who knows how to come in and help you fix it. The same, that apply that to your spiritual life, and that's what we do. And it is time for, guess what?
Break.
Another break. We're back.
Now, the decorations is that next door in our attic we have tons of Halloween decorations. But last night I really wanted to get the set done. So we have Halloween, but it's more authentic because we have dragons and stones and like
moons
I said,
and crystal balls.
and crystal balls and, crystal balls. I love when I said that.
Balls.
Okay, but we have also a lot of hope, and then people are probably going to ask me, what is this thing? I don't know if you can see it in the video.
The
but
light bulb monster?
No, it's not a monster, it's
not
an
a
epiphany!
monster!
Get close!
Very creative, say.
It's a light bulb thing with all these little arms coming out of it. I'm sorry. If I was a kid, I would think differently.
Pipe cleaners.
Okay, pipe cleaners.
It's like, oh my god, I had an idea!
It has two eyes.
It's an epiphany. When we dressed up for Halloween last year for class, somebody decided to make that as an epiphany. So it was all this energy with a light bulb coming on.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Sense. Speaking of sense, sense your soul. Oh, I will
Your
clean
soul
up that cobweb.
sense, yes.
See?
Because it's part of the decorations.
See?
Look,
Soul sense or sense your soul? I'm not sure exactly which one I want to do it is.
Soul sense. Sense your soul.
Get a clue. Okay, so a little bit more about those. They are essential oils, but they're based on what is it that your brain needs to trigger to be able to become the best of, or to remember to release, to balance. They are just like the soulpathics, but they're more of a roll-on. Somebody says, I don't remember to take the homeopathics. How do I do this? Can I have a roll-on? And I thought, that's it. Because either way, like with the homeopathics, it has a little bit of alcohol in it, and you put it under your tongue. It's there for preserving. But it's also like a nitrate pill. A nitrate pill does what?
It goes right, when you put it under the tongue, it goes right to the heart to be able to help if you're having that.
Instantaneously goes through the system.
Yeah.
And so the homeopathic instantaneously goes through the whole system, and it helps to balance. And when you start to hold that imprint, all of a sudden your thinking changes to the better. You start to feel more happier. And then with the soul sense, I guess that's what it's called, or sense of the soul. But one of the things is that you smell it, and the brain, the nose is so close to the brain that it triggers all of those parts that help create who you are.
Because the olfactory lobe in the brain that detects what you're smelling that's associated with your memory center.
Well, just like when you're born, one of your primal things is to root around and to smell for where's your food coming from, where you're nourished, where you're going. You bond with it with your parents and other things. And so when you are smelling the soul sense, apparently that is the name of it, then when you smell it, it helps you to bond with what you need to help you to release the bonds. And it literally is a soulpathic, but in a roll-on form. So you can find all of those at our website. And oh, there goes my earring again. I swear there's somebody playing with my earrings because there's no reason for it to fall out of my ear.
So it's the same ear, your right ear.
Your my right ear. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, let's see. The right ear usually represents. We need our fat book. Where did my fat book go?
Books are you going with that?
Yeah,
It's a
call
big-
that
it's
book
a
fat.
big book of information.
Yeah.
Messages from Your Body
What do
by
you need to
Michael
listen
J.
to?
Lincoln, PhD.
What do you need to listen
Hey,
to?
thanks, Scott.
What do we need to do next? And here is the big fat book of everything. I love this. Louise Hayes has hers. There's several other kinds, but I really like how he has brought the information in. And we're looking at ear, so that means I have to learn some form of alphabetizing. No, my alphabet. So as I look up what ear is, because this represents life as, and could we say earlobe? Or, so how about right earlobe, because my earring is in my earlobe.
Correct.
It's barely making it. They are having a feeling of having a tenuous hold on survival. So does this apply to me? Does this apply to who's trying to communicate with me? Yes. Okay. Yeah,
Hello?
they are. Yeah, I didn't put my
who
ring
is
on.
calling you?
I don't know. I did not put my ring on, so I'm connecting. So I'm just curious. Okay, who is calling me? And it is for Mark in the chat room. So someone is barely making it. Somebody is pointing out on the other side that something that he is barely making it. They're feeling that they are having a tenuous hold on survival. And again, it's not about that he can't survive, maybe food, he probably already has that. There's a particular part of maybe not enough sleep, not being able to get all the thoughts done. Somebody asked, okay, this is hilarious, high school friends. We knew each other in high school, we weren't really close in high school, but we were friends, right? Well, last night, someone posted, I can't sleep. And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 other people from high school posted the same thing. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I said, huh, funny, so am I. And then I finally said, well, I've never went to bed yet. And so then somebody says, hey, what are you doing? Wow. And so I said, oh. So I started to tell them what I was doing. And holy cow, I had a whole paragraph of things I was doing. I didn't realize how much of a busy person I am, because I create the memes to put up. I write my books, I do dissertation, getting the set done, getting all of this, which leads to that I'm going to start doing interviews on Fridays from 5 to 7 on Sepia. And so, Mark, if there's anybody in the group of Sepia that wants to be interviewed, then please tell them to contact us, because we would really like to set up an interview. We have an actual format of the things that you'll get out of being a guest on our show. And it's all about paying it forward and helping each other to make it in the direction that we're supposed to. and what our purpose is on the planet. So I'm going to see if there's anything else specifically that needs to be more for. Nope, Mark just has to pay attention to that, and there is a healing tool, but I'll wait until he asks. Sometimes it's not warranted. But since the earring keeps falling out on this show, I guess I better pay attention to it. So thank you, Scott, for going and getting that book.
Yes.
Okay. How's everything else?
So all you need to do is put the message in the chat, so we'll put that out to the Sepia peeps.
Okay, sounds good. Now,
were you done interviewing Jen?
and was there anything else that we think that we should let people know about us? Yes, one thing that she's doing is that her church has moved a
Right.
building location.
I am minister for Lansing Spiritual Center, and moving day is tomorrow, bright and early.
Yes.
We're moving from our current location into sharing space at First Presbyterian Church in downtown Lansing, which is an exciting opportunity for us to be downtown and part of the action. So we're doing that tomorrow, and our first service will be there Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is that it also compelled you to let everybody know you're moving, and that when the service is going to be. So you're actually getting and telling people more about this. You're kind of excited. I could see the different energy about it, so that's good. So this will be. She has a lot of stuff because there was this beautiful pulpit. Is that what you call it?
The altar and lectern,
Yeah, the lectern and altar. Yeah.
that was
They're handmade, and,
handmade.
and so they got to be carefully taken and care of, and then a bunch of chairs, and so, anyways, that's what she's doing, and Swedenborg keeps telling her that she needs to start teaching a little bit more. So, one of the things is when you get interviewed, do you have a package, and what can you offer to the peeps? What are you going to call them to come back to you? Now, I'm making several package deals for my telesummits that I have, and a packet would be about the fact is that, okay, you can get this meditation free if you subscribe to our webpage, or I don't know exactly which part I want to do. So I'm going to have that. Another package would be, you get, I have 333 is what I hear. I'm supposed to offer 3 classes in what you call the Empowerment Through Enlightenment, and that is a 1-hour part where I talk and I teach you the teachings and help you to see, can you apply it into your space. And then there is the gallery readings, where it's all about having communicate with the apparitions, the dead on the other side, which are fully alive. And, the gallery readings of bringing information through from the other side that are stories or things that need to be told. So that's coming up. And then another part of the package deal is the Hope Therapy, which is I help you, and just like with our show, we give a short reading. Well, we give a reading, an in-depth reading, and then we walk it through and do healing. And if anybody wants to be volunteer, then we'll do the healings right in a row until it's all complete, so you can see an actual session of what one is. So there's all these package deals that are going to be happening. Mark says that Dragus Productions will soon be adding a new edition. That'll be interesting. That is great. You can tell us more if you'd like. So the package deals, what can you give to us? Like I told you, like with Sepia, the one thing is that they're looking for producers and they're looking for hosts, and so they you just have to buy your number. This is all volunteer work, but it's a great stepping stone to getting where you need to go. Jen, I feel like there's supposed to be a package deal to some degree to help you learn about Swedenborg. Maybe an hour show or classes, a webinar, whatever it is that she's going to teach you about the how to apply it. Now, this is going to be different because I know she needs to pull it away from being in a church. Unless you like the church style, then she probably could do a half-hour church service, and there could be a production page that she's doing.
And there is specific Bible study, but the Bible study is so funny. One of the things, I'm also a clergy advisor for a student group at Michigan State, And so, you know, we always like to talk about, oh, well, yeah, Jesus did this, and he went around and ate with all these people, and man, he had that wedding, and he turned that water into wine. People love the water into wine story, which is great. I don't want to take that away from people, but it's got such a deeper spiritual meaning to what it is, because, and hey, you're asking what it is. Hey, so turning water into wine. Water represents truth. It is a form of truth. And so if you're, and wine, it takes a lot to make wine. It's got to be fermented. There's a lot of processing to it. So wine in itself, because, okay, so they're both liquid. Water and wine are both liquid. So if he asked, hey, go get that water and bring it to me. And what he did was he pulled that spiritual truth, that deeper wisdom from the water that was just coming out of the well versus wine. And it's about pulling that deeper spiritual insight within each of us to the surface.
Cool. I like that. And see, again, that's why she should have her packages so she can teach her webinars that way. Mark says, I'll be partnering with Rusty, what's it say? O'Neill, putting Mysteries and Unexplained magazine under Dragus Productions. Oh, how cool. We'll be looking for writers to contribute soon.
Hey,
does that mean us? We could do that too? Like the mysteries of This Explains Life As? Or is that too much if it is something, maybe we could start writing into that. Now, is this a magazine that people will be buying, or will it be online only? You know, details.
This is interesting.
Because, that would be really great to know that that's
all host. Awesome.
All host.
Cool.
Oh, excellent. God, I cannot seem to say certain words today or type them.
Okay, well, we are
Just about done.
done, you say?
No, I don't want to be.
Oh, but wait, there's more. You could always look at the YouTube, www.youtube.com/Medicine Women Reveal for behind the scenes look at what's going on during the show. And I put the little teaser in there so you can actually see our Halloween decorations. And even my tattoo. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, that's right. I'll still see if I can get a picture up close. Up close shot, maybe. I may not. I don't know.
Yes!
Yeah.
It was exciting. I'm sure for everybody to listen to our intro. How many times did we play it? Yay!
Well,
This is us. We're introducing ourselves. Welcome back.
yeah, well, why not do it? That's how good.
There we go.
Okay, so this is a wonderful opportunity of this magazine. So I have a feeling that Jen and I will either do one separate or together. But if he says that it's going to be all the hosts that are going to do it, then there'll probably be a Medicine Woman Reveal page. Why not be consistent? Yeah, that'd be less work. So if you forget to write one, I can write one. But it is quarterly, so then we'll be able to have no problem getting
Right,
it done.
I've been bloggity blog.
Yeah, I got to get my butt moving on that one too.
Angelheartofit.com. That's me. And
Yeah.
there's a little blog tab.
And for me, it's just Medicine Women for you. So, you know what? I still think, and because of the fact, Mark, let me ask you this question. If we do this magazine part for you, can we have the rights to it to do our Medicine Women Reveal blog together, which I keep saying that me and her need to do?
Oh, yeah. I'll just cut and paste.
Jeez. It's collaborated and coming together
Right.
and then coming up
It's
with a story
easy
and writing.
peasy to
Yes.
work
But
together.
anyways, that would be cool if we were to start our blog and get it once a month or every 2 weeks, whatever we have to decide. And, it's not just for our hosts. So if you would like to be a writer, please let us know. Contact me, contact Mark, however you want to do it. Then go to Sepia itself, and I'm sure there is some way to contact. This is separate altogether. I like that. Okay, so here we are launching and helping each other to grow. And I love this idea. So, yes, Mark, I think you can count us in, and we will,
We'll
as
do
soon as you
something.
hammer out the details, we'll do what we need to do.
He said get to it with him later for details.
Sounds good to me. Yes.
Okay,
So,
so what else are we talking about?
I don't know, should we just have dead air? Dun, dun. No, just kidding.
It's never dead air with us.
No, we gotta get that laugh right. I already told the story once, but that was when it was real crackly and nobody probably was listening to that show again. I had my phone, and you know how you can make your own ringtones? So my son is a trickster sometimes, and he's just him. Well, I made him a ringtone, and So it goes, we gotta remember how to do it. And it was so funny. Okay, so I made this and I made it long, repetitive, 3 or 4 times. So I'm in my big room. Now you gotta understand, my classroom, I have a great big gigantic 90-inch screen that I pull down and I watch TV through a projection screen. Quiet in the kitchen there. And see, the cook in the kitchen's too busy making noise. We've forgotten doing a radio show. So, anyways, I'm watching TV and I'm watching Ghost Whisperer. Okay, so now when I watch TV, I have all the lights off, right? So you already know what's coming because I gave it away about the ringtone. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and she's feeling the presence of this ghost, and they're playing these. Ghost Whisperer got scarier, and all of a sudden,
it's crazy.
I'm like, oh my God, I can feel it. It's right behind you. Oh God, and she's looking around, and all of a sudden, I hear. I'm like, oh my God, it's making noise. Get out of there! You can't hear that? Why are you not running? And then it went to commercial, and then I thought, and I hear, oh shit, it's in the room with me! Son of a bitch! Ah! Oh, it's my freaking phone. Oh my God. I just played a trick on my own self. That was just so unbelievable. Because it was like, could this be real? And Mark missed it. Seriously, Mark missed that funny thing.
He did.
Yeah, well, anyways, I have it on my other phone.
He's gonna watch the YouTube. He promised that he's gonna check out our Halloween decorations.
He just wants to see your tattoo.
Very few men have seen that tattoo on my dad.
Oh, how do you know? Really? How do you know that?
Yeah, tell
No
us.
comment.
Okay.
Comment.
Very few men. I'm not gonna tell on myself.
Mystique.
No.
Oh, my mystique. Yes, I have this great air of mystery about me. Nobody knows what's going on with me. Lying.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
funny. What we're going to do, because this isn't a magical month, my resources haven't given me much energy, or, excuse me, they haven't given me the verbiage, but the energy is so different than what I know that I know something's going to happen. It is like it's going to be this incredible shift this month. I feel like the 20th means something. Now on the 20th, I know that what they call the moment, where everybody is going to be meditating all around the world to shift the consciousness. Dr. Deepak Chopra has always talks about the consciousness. We had gone to an incredible
presentation from him.
Yeah, and we got free tickets.
Awesome.
Amen. But what he talked about was exactly what I was talking about, and then he was talking more about the perceptions and the consciousness. And my main job is to help heal and process so we can change the consciousness for the better, creating that inner world for a better outer world. And so I know on the 20th, people are going to be praying and to shift the consciousness, and there's something else that's going to occur. I have no idea. All for the better. Now, I know I'll be aware of it, but I don't know who will be. I don't know whether or not, what does it entail. I have no clue. All I know is that I would like to, what kind of deck should we use? There's something. We're going to see if there's anything that one needs to learn. We're going to break this down. What is there to learn within this October? What is it that we need to learn? Whoa. And in the video, I don't know if you can see it, I felt like the electricity had gone. So I have to wait until you actually throw up something too, my dear.
She just did.
Jen, don't be starting stuff.
Eyes of
You said I gotta throw something up, so I am.
did.
Yes, she did. And the card, that is. So again, this is the question is, what are we to learn for October? We got I'm looking from the Colette Baron Reed, the Enchanted Map.
And I'm looking from Colette Baron Reed, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms.
So the first card came in reverse. It was called number 47, Sacred Pool. A situation is unraveling and your best plans are leading you into a tricky maze. Your challenge is to separate out the elements of this puzzle to get a better perspective on what's happened. You may have lingered too long in a place where you didn't belong anymore, which is why I have my pass switch, seduced by a temporary solution. As you untangle yourself, it's important to maintain a sense of humor. Don't fret. You will learn something valuable that you will need later when faced with a more dangerous situation. Breathe and know that you are loved. And it can be, the fact is your daily route of thinking. It can be the challenges of all the stuff that you no longer serve, that you gotta be done with. Like the path switch. I didn't think I was done with teaching empowerment through enlightenment, which I'm not. But I had to take my energy off that temporarily, and the moment I did, that energy just exploded with, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, really? I wasn't devoting that much time, but I was anchoring in that class had to be on Friday, and that this had to be
people
done.
knew that they were going to be here, and it was this whole community that was being built around coming to class.
Yeah, and so it was a big challenge.
I've been doing that for 7 years, coming to class.
Yeah, so for me it was, I got to stop doing what I love. But I'm not really, and this is just a pace of changing something for the better, going into the direction. So I know I'll probably be doing it once a month. Can't tell you when I'm going to start it. And the untangling of yourself is at the moment you feel negative stuff, tap it out, change the way that your frontal lobe is creating that reality, to the point that you can do this with grace and ease. And Jen, what is your card on top of that?
So the Eyes of Beauty as an ally, when it shows up as your ally, they require you to examine your perceptions. Do you see the world as perfect and beautiful? Can you retrace your steps from your past to now and see the perfection in the way reality has been created? Truly, perception is everything. A glass half empty is the same as a glass half full, yet so different according to how it's perceived. The Eyes of Beauty remind you that if you move forward with conviction, all is well now and always will be. You will see true prosperity as a result. Expect to see beauty and you will attract your highest good.
There was something, a meme, there's a third option, and this is the thing you got to understand. The planet is giving you a third option. It's not right or wrong anymore. It is the balance, taking and preserving all the positive learnings between the left and the right, the yin and the yang, the right and the wrong. And you're getting that third option, and as you heal and create those closures, you take the incredible third option. So the meme was, your glass is half empty, the glass is half full. I can't remember what the third response was.
The person took it, they're like, I'm an opportunist.
Yes, so they drank it.
You see it this way, I see it this way, I'm going to drink it.
So I'm glad you remembered. So it's about those opportunities, and it's about those perceptions, and it's really, again, you're going to start seeing this represents life as, and you get to have your power of choice back, and I think the energy is going to have more having your back. Now, the second card that flipped up for me was called Listening, and it's number 43, and it was in the upright position. And I'm going to read to you. As soon as I flip to the right page. It says, an open heart will hear the message. Oh my gosh, I could just start with that. For those that have ears that hear. Now, here's the thing. You get to hear, with a total, you hear between the lines anyway. But if you're in a higher space, not the electromagnetic guiding omni-apparition, meaning the ego, you're not over-identifying with it, but you're allowing yourself to be in that spiritual state, being that spiritual human, you'll be amazed of how you hear things differently. I mean, my husband and I were talking about one thing. He says, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. I says, not really. It goes back to when I was an aunt at the age of, 5? Or 7 or something like that. Well, I don't have a job, and all aunts are supposed to give cards and gifts to their nephews and nieces. Well, being that age, I wouldn't. And so it's that changing and looking at it from another perspective of why that blows that theory out of the water. But yes, they're all correct. Every angle is correct. But it all depends on if you're going to hold steady to one answer, or are you going to be the kaleidoscope and understand there's more answers. And we were going to read the card Listening. This is all about what we're supposed to learn during this month of October. When the card appears, you're being reminded that there is a time to speak and a time to be silent. Now is the occasion for listening. Pay attention not only to what is being spoken, but also to what is not being said at the moment, for the deeper message is not always obvious. I always say pay attention to the gems. Ask the Spirit to point it out to you. What is important about that moment? If there isn't, no big deal. But if there is, you don't have to miss a thing. You can learn how to communicate on that level. Listen with your heart, not just your ears, and you'll find clarity. Receiving and listening card is a fortunate sign and ensures a greater understanding of your circumstances. And Jen got the card that goes with it.
The Horse King, which is reversed. The Horse King, as challenger, wants to know why you think you can do everything by yourself. Keeping control of everything around you is counterproductive and exhausting. You may lose an important opportunity if you insist on being stubborn. The Horse King is patient, however, and will wait for you to come to your senses. Senses. And accept the help you need. You won't be able to reach your goal otherwise. Yet, the Horse King says that all it takes is a decision to jump on his back, ask for help, and graciously allow yourself to be carried to your destination. Let go of control and amazing things can happen for you.
And the thing is that people say, well, control, surrender. Okay, first of all, you're not giving up. In another way to look at the kaleidoscope and taking that third option, you're switching the control into a different way. As far as I've lost my thought because some energy just came through. Isn't that incredible?
I watched it go that way.
And it literally disrupted my thinking. It's causing a little bit of a headache, and as I breathe it through, because I'm surrendering to listen. It's not trying to attack me. It's not trying to control me. It's another way to look at it. So there must be something specific that it wants to... So I'm just going to have Jen draw a card about why is this energy very much there. This is something that's very important as people start to shift, because you need to understand this card is called Rescue. It's upside down. And Jen?
Are you trying to rescue another? Do you believe your love can change someone and miraculously heal this person?
Stop. One thing is that this is the problem. We see them having a problem. We think that their issue is their problem, and we need to control it and to correct it and to...
And change them.
And there isn't. There's a difference between a soul coach and regular living. When people, the part of this planet is based on the pimp and hoe, and it's also based on that we have to rescue and save. Jesus Christ. Oh, I got to save those people. Well, that's just placing a judgment and thinking that they're not doing it the way they need to. You need to be focusing on your own shit. And then there is the other people that says, oh my God, they need to be saved. Well, teach them how to fish. Don't fish for them. You know, there is different ways of doing this, and we're learning to apply it differently. You know, the economy is based on, you know, it's going to the extremes of helping so much that people aren't helping themselves anymore. And it becomes a tricky situation. So one of the things is literally understanding that you can help, but stop rescuing. Because it burns you out. You get tired of living someone else's life. Learn to live your own, create the boundaries, and you can help out when you're supposed to. Because like when my friend, she sat there and was crying on my shoulder every dang day about something, I said, I'm sorry, I'm doing you a disservice. Here's a healing tool so you don't have to live that way. She disappeared because she wanted to live that way. But it was draining me. I'm not going to take that on. Go else, Jen.
Or are you waiting to be rescued? Do you believe that someone will sweep you off your feet and take away all of your troubles?
There was a time when sometimes when I got really tired and stressed. Now, what was interesting is that I said to Jen, wow, Jen, I'm thankful that you're here with me, helping me do this reset designs, because I know I could do it myself, but I'm glad I don't have to. And it was nice to know that I didn't have to be in that self-talk. I've healed enough that self-talk of going, oh my God, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. I wish somebody else would do it, you know, and then get mad and think, oh yeah, that person can do it, and then get mad because they didn't. That thinking needs to be healed out. And I was very impressed with the fact that wow, I mean, we were in sync to the point I didn't have to ask her anything. We were just doing it, and we got it done. You know, redone.
Reverse, the rescue card cautions you against romanticizing your situation right now. Look closely and see reality as it is rather than the illusion of how you'd like it to be.
That's very important. How you like it to be. I just explained that. I'm sitting there moaning and complaining about my thing, and it's like, okay, oh, my husband's free, he ain't doing anything. Why don't he do it? And what we do is we end up thinking of the nearest person to us, and then we want to blame them. Well, I don't have any money this week, but that person owes me. Well, I'm going to put all my pressure on them to give me the money because they have to. It's that part of that romanticizing, and it's part of that negative thinking, and you need to disengage from that, change that way that thinking is, unplug from that matrix. Otherwise, you're going to keep repeating the same stories. Anything else?
You need to step back and rescue yourself. Trust that Spirit will guide you to expose the illusion so that you may discern the difference between truth and fantasy.
And so really, you're just learning to stop doing and feeding that self-talk. And changing, because I believe that this October is changing from the baby to the student, which means you're taking that next step of stop blaming the outside and understanding you're the problem. And let me explain this. We're not blaming, we're helping you understand your perspective. A baby, like I told you before, learns how to crawl, and maybe it only knows how to crawl backwards at first. Doesn't mean it's stupid? No! It's on the progression of that learning curve. And as it's crawling backwards, it gets caught under the tables and chairs because it can't see where it's going. But when it got caught up and it feels the physical pain and it looks around, it's going to blame what? The environment, the table, the chair. But the baby just needs to stop and realize what? That it is being the problem. Because if it would just, crawl the other way or call for help, whatever, the point is that we're shifting our thoughts, because how we learn as human beings is there are stages. But
Well, you've got to be able to understand that, number one, you participate in reality in your life, and the control you have is that you have control over your life, your part in the equation.
the reaction, the
And
way
you can change
interpret.
it. And in some instances, that offers a huge amount of freedom.
Oh my God, that's a lot of freedom for us, because as we look back, I'm going to go back to that person I was, and yeah, somebody say, well, that's just growth. No. I was a scared person, introvert, constantly scared that people was going to die on me. Without the knowledge I have, I'd still be not wondering why people die. Why is there sickness and disease? And one of the biggest things is when the soul, you have to respect the fact that there is a timing. The fluidity of the whole thing happens, and if that fluidity is disrupted in any way, limited, controlled, forced, then there's going to have to be an energy burst somewhere else, because the energy has to keep moving. And we really have to understand it's the way that our thinking. So when I looked at how people like monks meditate and they're so enlightened, but yet they're dicks, or they're, why? Why are they so angry? Why are they so over-identified and want to blame and that? Because they hadn't transformed that other part. And that's what we're here for, is to help you transform the consciousness. Simply is. Any last-minute words before we start to head out?
That's what babies do.
Goo goo?
Goo goo gaga. Well, and then I was also thinking that how much freedom that offers a person, but to some degree that freedom can also be overwhelming. Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with that? Because to a certain degree, there needs to be some kind of structure for a person, because otherwise it's just like, well, I'm out in the world and I don't know, you're just flapping in the wind, But you can create that, find a way to create that structure so that you have that safety, you have those boundaries, but then you can also take a look at your world and say, wait a minute, now it's time now that I have this taken care of, then I can start doing that personal inventory. And that's, I think, Maslow's hierarchy. The basic, on that triangle, the basic thing are your survival needs, your needs of survival, and at the top of that triangle or pyramid is self-actualization. So it takes some bit to be able to get to the point where you're like, okay, well now I feel safe and secure enough that now I can go after that self-actualization.
Exactly. We're going to continue all these wonderful talks, and our show will be Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and if you want to join us, that'd be great. All right, so as we start to say thank you to everybody in the chat room, thank you for everybody that's listening one way or the other, and remember there are YouTubes and Tindex that have all of these shows if you want to re-listen to more of the gems.
You can
Anything
go
else?
to our website, so we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right. Peace out. Namaste.